Good evening, I'm Prasad and this is KiniNews. Najib Abdul Razak spent 9 years in Putrajaya's nicest office as Prime Minister. Now he's about to occupy the Kajang prison's nicest cell for the next 12 years. This is after he failed in his SRC appeal at the federal court today. This also means BN's king of social media will no longer have access to the internet. The federal court has upheld the SRC conviction and sentencing against former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak and ordered him to serve his 12-year jail term from today. He will also have to pay a 210 million ringgit fine in default of another 5 years imprisonment. The 5-person apex court bench chaired by Chief Justice Tengku Maimun Tuan unanimously dismissed the former Prime Minister's appeal to quash his conviction over 7 criminal charges as well as the sentencing. Earlier, the court had rejected Najib's application to recuse Tengku Maimun from presiding over his SRC appeal. Tengku Maimun ruled that there is no link between her husband's 2018 Facebook post and that of the former finance minister's appeal. On July 28, 2020, the Kuala Lumpur High Court found Najib guilty on 1 count of abuse of power, 3 counts of criminal breach of trust and 3 money laundering charges and imposed the sentence. The Court of Appeal upheld the lower court's ruling and dismissed Najib's appeal on December 8th last year. In her ruling today, Tengku Maimun said there is no new issue in Najib's appeal in the SRC case as it involves the finding of facts and settled legal precedents. She also pointed out that Najib's legal team was given every opportunity to orally submit on the main SRC appeal, but they refused to do so. After playing musical chairs with his lawyers, Najib once again sought the help of Shafi Abdullah. However, even the veteran lawyer couldn't change today's outcome.
Lawyer Muhammad Shafi Abdullah has returned to assist Najib Abdul Razak's new legal team led by Hashim Tepo Tek. This was to assist the team with their recusal bid against Chief Justice Tengku Maimun Tuan. Najib had earlier filed an application to recuse Tengku Maimun from presiding over his SRC appeal. He cited a Facebook posting by Tengku Maimun's husband, Zamani Ibrahim, on August 17 in his recusal bid. He alleged that the Facebook post, dated May 11, 2018, had, among others, expressed happiness at him being dethroned following the 14th general election that year. According to Najib, the post showed a risk of bias from Tengku Maimun. On his arrival at the court this morning, Shafi applied to adjourn the hearing of Najib's recusal application to tomorrow morning. Shafi told the bench that it was important for the apex court to allow the adjournment to tomorrow, as he was brought in at the last minute to orally submit on the recusal bid. However, the 5-person bench chaired by Tengku Maimun dismissed the application to postpone the hearing. The top judge then directed Hashim to resume his oral submissions on the recusal bid against her. Previously, it was reported that Najib had discharged Shafi's law firm from acting for him. He then appointed Zaid Ibrahim's firm as lawyers before discharging him as well, leaving only the lawyers under Hashim.
Najib is now a convicted criminal set to spend time in jail. However, some still call him Bosku. Who are these people? Let's take a look.
Former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak was greeted with chants of Hidup Bosku on his arrival at the Palace of Justice this morning for his final appeal in the 42 million ringgit SRC international corruption case. Despite police attempts to control the crowd, supporters crowded around Najib's car to show their support. Over 200 of his constituents and supporters had gathered at the Palace of Justice from early this morning to show support to the former premier. According to one of the supporters, their group had chartered 4 buses for the occasion. Others made their way from around the Klang Valley by themselves. Several supporters of the former premier who had travelled from Pekan alleged that Najib had not been given a fair trial. One of them said they were not trying to condemn the judiciary, but merely believed that Najib was not given the right to justice. On July 28, 2020, the High Court in Kuala Lumpur found Najib guilty of 1 count of abuse of power, 3 counts of criminal breach of trust, and 3 money laundering charges. However, trial judge Muhammad Muhammad Ghazali allowed the defence's bid to stay the execution of the sentence of 12 years in jail and 210 million ringgit fine, pending disposal of the appeal. The Court of Appeal upheld the lower court's ruling and dismissed Najib's appeal on December 8 last year. Today is the 5th day of Najib's final appeal in the case.
Top UMNO leaders held an emergency meeting yesterday. However, the BN party has denied putting pressure on the Prime Minister to interfere in Najib's case.
UMNO Youth Chief Ashraf Wajdi Duski has denied reports that UMNO's meeting yesterday had discussed attempts to get Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob to interfere with court matters. In a statement on Facebook yesterday night, he said it was illogical to demand the Prime Minister to interfere with former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak's SRC appeal, as the case had reached the federal court level. Ashraf's denial came after Astro Awani had reported that a large section of the UMNO division chiefs present at the meeting had rejected the suggestion for Ismail Sabri to interfere in Najib's appeal. Ashraf said what he could share publicly about the meeting was that they had discussed issues concerning the upcoming 15th general election. He added that at the party's next top leadership meeting, he would bring a proposal to take legal action against Astro Awani for reporting false news without basis that portrays UMNO in a bad light. Yesterday, top UMNO leaders from across the country had answered a call to urgently convene at the party's headquarters in Kuala Lumpur. UMNO Sungai Besar Chief Jamal Mat Yunus, who was present at the meeting, had said that the meeting came as a shock and the division chiefs were only notified the night before. He also confirmed that those present had unanimously agreed for the 15th general election to be called soon, and they were given a briefing on preparations for GE15.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister said the UMNO meeting was about the party's readiness to face GE15 and had nothing to do with Najib going to jail. Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob said he has not received any requests from UMNO to intervene in former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak's SRC case. He said this in response to a question about rumours of him being pressured by several UMNO leaders on the matter. According to Ismail Sabri, the urgent meeting of party division chiefs yesterday only discussed ways to strengthen the party to face the upcoming general election. Yesterday, Astro Awani had cited anonymous UMNO sources in the report to call for intervention from the Prime Minister. Astro Awani reported that a large section of UMNO division chief present at a meeting at the party headquarters had rejected the suggestion for Ismail Sabri to intervene in Najib's appeal. When asked about requests made by UMNO division leaders for snap polls to be called, Ismail Sabri said he did not know as he was not present at the meeting. A declassified government report on the LCS scandal has implicated a minister's wife.
A newly declassified report on the Littoral Combat Ship LCS project has implicated Zainab Muhammad Saleh in dubious transactions related to the project. The report also mentions that Abdul Latif is her spouse. This came just hours after Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Abdul Latif Ahmad, denied allegations that Zainab is his wife. According to the report, an individual named Thierry Berrier held one share which he transferred to Abdul Latif. It is noted that Abdul Latif is the spouse of Zainab, read the report on a 2019 audit. The forensic audit was ordered by Bustad Heavy Industries Corporation Berhad and was undertaken by Alliance IFA Sendirian Berhad. It is the second of two audit reports that the Cabinet ordered to be declassified on August 10th. In a brief statement posted on Facebook, Defence Minister Hishamuddin Hussein said BHIC had agreed to declassify the report, which is now posted on the Public Accounts Committee's website. However, many parts of the report have been redacted. Exhibits referenced in the report were also not included in the declassified document. Yesterday, PKR Deputy President Rafizi Ramli had claimed that Abdul Latif's second wife Zainab controls two companies, Alizes Marine and Alizes Marine Labuan, that were technical consultants for the project. Rafizi claimed that the companies lacked expertise, sent invoices for work that was not carried out, and were appointed as spare part suppliers through misrepresentation. Abdul Latif has denied that Zainab was his wife, as stated in news reports, and said he is ready to give full cooperation to the authorities if they want to carry out further investigations.
Anuar Musa has a message for UMNO leaders in the run-up to GE15, less talk and more work.
Work more and talk less to ensure victory in the upcoming 15th general election. This was the advice from Keterih MP Anuar Musa for UMNO leaders. According to Bernama, He said this when asked to comment on the advice of Johor UMNO Liaison Committee Deputy Chairperson Nur Jazlan Muhammad, who had urged party leaders to prioritize the party's victory in GE15 rather than busy jockeying for power in the party. Anwar also advised UMNO leaders to work towards resolving the problems faced by the people. He said, UMNO leaders should protect the name of the party and not create misunderstandings which could lead to the people disliking them. He added that all UMNO leaders had experience and it was better for them to work than to criticize others. Previously, Bernama had reported that Nur Jazlan alleged that some individuals were busy lobbying for the number 1 or number 2 post in the party, when UMNO's machinery was struggling to carry out preparations to face the challenges of GE15.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching.